last week.
But have Jake Bailey been off?
And I said it did not affect his performance.
Not in what we've seen, but there hasn't been a lot of punts. Like, I mean,
I will say the punt coverage last week was bad.
Yeah.
But I also would say that's not atypical. And as we look at the live warm-ups, we see a shot of Brian Corey, the fill-in long snapper. But I think the coverage in preseason games typically is pretty bad, and I think the reason for that is there's a lot of mixing and matching that Bill likes to do.
Let me ask you both a question here that we have bandied about. If you were called into action to perform one sporting role tonight, right? They give you a call, hey, we're short of first baseman. We need someone to ref a hockey game. Professional level, highest level. What sporting job could you do on a moment's notice and not completely embarrass yourself or ruin the game for everybody?
Mine's easy. Yeah.
Okay, so I tell you what mine was, and I was chastised for it. I said, I could caddy. I could go out there and loop a PGA Tour event.
Looper.
Does that count?
Looper.
Billy Lanny told me it did not count, and that
I'm
he
with
said,
Billy Lanny.
Bob, you can go out there and play 18 holes. You can fill out a twosome. I said, no, I cannot. I would ruin the day. I would ruin the day for everybody.
Okay.
I can't go out and
I think
play.
you're being really literal by saying you'd ruin the day. Like, I don't think you'd ruin the day.
I'd ruin it for the guy I was paired with.
Okay.
I would ruin his day.
I don't know. Like, I'm going to treat it literal, and I would say, like, if I had to go in and pitch an inning, I'd get lit up. But I think I could do it. Like, I think I would throw strikes. I think they would hit it, and maybe they would hit it at somebody, and I could get some outs.
What? How many miles per hour?
Oh, like right now without?
Yeah.
We talking about without?
You gotta go. You gotta go tonight.
Could you give me like a 3-week like lead up?
Okay, sure.
I could probably get to the low 80s.
Oh Jesus! Oh yeah, you could go do that.
If you could give me some,
technique.
If you said that I would had to go to training camp next year. Like, if I had to go to, like, spring training in February and I...
Oh, you
like,
throw your own out.
No, but if I hired someone and I lost the 50 pounds that I need to lose and I got ready,
50.
I know I could get into I know I could be throwing in the low 80s.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
There was a radar gun up at one of the places on the Cape
baseball.
Today. Okay, yeah, I know, but I mean...
It was 100 years ago, I agree.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame is Hall of Fame.
Mike, what could you could probably ref an NHL game.
I mean, I'd probably be better a linesman though, where I don't have to quite, do as much heavy lifting. But if I had to play, I could probably give you some, a left wing, dump it in, go get it. I could get out there. I think I've always wondered. I watched the Bruins practice a little bit. I'm like, I could get out there and not embarrass myself.
You're talking like Chris Wagner minutes, like 10, 11 minutes over the course of
get it,
20
dump
shifts.
it, go get it.
I heard
bang,
this topic, Hardy,
back.
when you were talking about it last week, and I loved it. And I did start weighing it in my head, like, okay, like I could probably go out into the outfield and field the ball at a reasonable level. Like, I wouldn't be making Jackie Bradley Jr. catches or anything, but if I had a routine fly ball, I know for a fact I could catch it.
Okay.
If a single got hit to me, I know for a fact I could hit the cutoff. But that's only part of the equation. I have to get up.
Well, you see,
right?
and this is what...
And you're talking about embarrassing, right? If I was up in the batter's box with any major league pitcher, it would be an utter embarrassment.
And that's what my friend Billy Lanny had said, and a couple other people. It's like, I could go play first base. And I said, okay, all right.
First of all, you couldn't.
Maybe, and I know I couldn't, right?
Until there's like some kind of play that happens where you got to like get off the bag.
Until there's a play like the play that ended the game last night for the Red Sox and Yankees, which was a ridiculous pick at first by Rizzo, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
And I think I would duck out of the way of a ball that was thrown to me from shortstop. I'm like, it's going to be a close one. But in the box, I would be ducking and hitting the deck if a ball was thrown a foot off the plate on the outside. I would be so afraid.
Even if you weren't worried about getting hit, you would swing so far after the ball hit the glove that it would be silly.
Yeah.
So the reason why I bring it up, it wasn't just out of nowhere. A couple of people called in when we did this and said, I could go out there and long snap. And I said, no. And he goes, no, I did it in high school or something. There's one guy who did it in college. And I said, you know what?
Yeah.
You're not going to get hit.
Right. It's a weird skill like that you could kind of hold on to.
Now, I think if you had the ability to long snap, that's the pick.
Now, I'm not saying you're going to be good at it, and you might, screw up a couple of, But there's a chance you may not take the field more than once or twice. If it's and especially if they're going to say, "Oh my God, we got this guy from from Canton in here tonight who is our long snapper. We're going to go for it on every fourth down," as opposed to actually, trying to punt, or we're going to go for it all the time, not even kick field goals.
I would wonder.
Speaking of field goals, Quinn Nordine.
If the big night for him, I would wonder if the velocity would be such. There's such disparity in the velocity of an amateur that every kick would just get blocked because the ball. Is the timing that close?
Something to consider.
Yeah, that is something to consider. Absolutely, but I feel like if you had the ability to long snap, if you could do I wouldn't be able to long snap, but
nope.
Because I don't think I could get it where it needs to go. But if someone had that ability, I think that's a good pick.
All right.
Because you're not going to get hit.
Deuce brought up the kickers again. He said he only saw a couple few kicks at the end of one of the practices.
Yeah, they didn't have live field goals on Monday. They did on Tuesday. He had 4 of them. He missed the last one.
Now, do you think this was an anomaly, or is this part of the ongoing very, very bold-faced disdain that the NFL has toward kickers? And
I love you.
And even though they're a major part of the game, they treat them like second-class players, citizens, and they won't even afford them more than a couple of kicks over the course of 3 days of practice.
Yeah, you got an undrafted rookie. I wouldn't miss an opportunity for a day just to put him through there a little bit and have him kick a couple.
Just to be
whatever.
clear, there are 3 practice fields in Philly, and the kickers were working extensively on the 3rd one, way over.
But in actual
But in live action, they only he finished the Tuesday practice, and Philadelphia didn't attempt any.
Wow. Well, the NFL hates their kickers. I don't know why.
They should outlaw them.
If they're going to treat them the way they treat them, they should just remove them from the game.
Why this bothers you so?
It does. It's a huge part of the game, and it's an afterthought for a lot of teams. I'm glad the Patriots brought this guy in. I'm glad that we're talking about, and I'm glad that they brought Folk back too, because I thought he did a really good job the last couple of years.
You sure did.
Well, and that's why I don't really see him losing his job.
Do you know he made more good lists than any other player last year?
That says a lot.
He was one of the 5 best and Jake Bailey was also one of the 5 best players in the team last year.
I know. All pro. Come on.
I mean, I think did Folk miss 2 of his first 3 kicks of the year?
Some
then made 25 in a row.
Yes.
2 game winners and 2 AFC Special Teams Player of the Week.
To me, as long as Folk is healthy, and if you want to make a thing of this, we can talk about it. As long as Folk is healthy, I think he's going to be your week 1 kicker. I think Nordine stays. I think they put him on the practice squad. I think they probably like what they see. It's night and day to the last rookie kicker they had last year, Rohrwasser, who couldn't kick it from here to there without it spinning sideways.
Weird.
It was weird.
He had issues. Christian in L.A. What's up, Christian?
Hey, guys. I don't be in the pops of Mac Jones bubble before it even hits the height. But here's something that I noticed in the college game, and I have not seen it on tape yet in the professional game. He doesn't seem to show the ability to look off a safety or a corner. And I know in college he could probably get away with that, but he's not going to be able to get away with that in the NFL. In fact, if you look at the game last week against Washington, he almost had one picked off in that same scenario that he just flows into the tight end. Have you guys noticed anything about that? And could you talk about that? And if you noticed it tonight?
All right, Christian, thank you. I myself have not noticed it, but I think that's one of those skills that I think can be developed. This is
that's an experience.
Yeah, that's where you want to go with it, and you're going to be deceptive. I think he's at the point right now where he's going through the reads and learning to go do those initial parts now. Whereas somebody like Brady, who knows just based on the pre-snap how everybody's lined up, where he's going to go, knows exactly where his head's going to go just to pull that guy over a little bit. So I think I think what Paul said, experiencing.
Can you see? I can't tell. Is he wearing that brace?
I can't tell.
Because we're watching Mac Jones starting his warm-ups right now.
Was it on his right leg?
It was on his left leg.
I think there's a little bump
I can't
in
tell.
there. It seems like there might be a little one on.
I
can't tell for
I think
sure.
that's an interesting development, Hardy. I don't know if you guys talked about that at all here, but he put on the knee brace on Monday for the first time. He wore Monday and Tuesday. He wore a knee brace on his left knee. He said he was asked specifically if he had suffered any injury or, in the game against Washington. He said no. We just wanted to give it a try. Sue me, but I don't believe him. I think he probably has some discomfort there, and was making sure that he was keeping himself healthy.
Well, in a callback to our earlier conversation about what you read from practice reports, I read from two different people. One was a substantial brace.
Oh, yeah, he had a DonJoy on. It was a big knee brace.
Okay, and someone else called it, a light brace.
No.
So
right, Deuce?
I thought it was a medium brace.
He had the regular brace on, right? Like it was a good brace.
Well, the first day I felt like it wasn't the big
it wasn't
offensive
like
lineman one.
Yeah,
but it was,
like the offensive line. First of all, the offensive linemen, they're twice as big anyway. It's like the one that J.J. Watt used to wear on his elbow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that should have been illegal.
Yeah, that's natural. Anyway, I just think it's something that was interesting. I can't tell the way that the monitor.
Well, if you can't, there's something there.
Yeah,
there's something there. But I don't.
There.
But it's little. It's not a. That's why you can't tell. But there's something there.
You can see it's blocking out the stripes.
I don't care if it's little, big, or nothing. It's. I mean, I don't care.
It's something.
If he's got a brace on, to me, he wasn't wearing it before.
I just think
he didn't wear it in any practices, and he didn't wear it in the game against Washington.
I just think for an immobile quarterback who's not going to run, it's good practice. Wear it, so you don't get Brady 08.
All right, let's go to Ray once again, going to Atlanta. What's going on, Ray?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Good to hear from you all again. Good to be on here again.
Thank you.
I'll be quick again. You know how I do. I'm looking forward to this game tonight. We all know that, some want Cam, some want Mac. I believe in them both. Mac got the arms, and Cam has the legs. So I just wish it was a such thing that they can just go back and forth between quarters as much as they could, because they have something that each one can or can't do. And I just look forward to it, and I believe in the kicker, and the defense need to step up, and the kicker need to kick their way to the Super Bowl and playoffs.
All right, Ray. I tell you.
All right.
I tell you what. Thanks for the call, buddy. Good to hear from you. It's a good size brace, according to
it's
one
the brace
of our sources.
he had on. Like I was literally as close as I am to Mike when I saw the brace the first time. He had a brace on. It wasn't a sleeve.
I think braces to Paul are like hoodies to me. Only I care about the hoodies. Paul loves the brace. I don't know.
I think it's a.
If he had the brace on every day of camp, it would not. Tom Brady wears a brace every single day at practice. That to me is a non-story. The fact that he didn't have it on every day until Monday tells me that he tweaked something. He didn't just decide out of nowhere, day 14, I'm putting a brace on today. That's impossible.
So you're monitoring for injury.
Yes. That's why I'm talking about it.
I don't think that knee braces on a quarterback are as inconsequential as the hoodie on the coach. But I would I would disagree that he's into them. Nobody is into anything as much as you're into Bill Belichick's
Thank
hoodies.
you again, Hardy.
I feel ganged up on
Two signs
right
of
now.
support from you. Thank you.
I thought it was a shot that
I don't do it in the preseason, so there.
No. Dussault took that was completely out of line and inaccurate and just wrong.
Hurtful, really.
Isaiah Wynn. This is what Jack in Ann Arbor wants to talk about. And Trent Brown. Likely each will miss at least one game this season. The Pats need a reliable third tackle. Should we get Bedard on the phone if we can? I watched the Washington game twice, and I was very surprised to see that Justin Herron played very poorly at left tackle. He used poor technique and exhibited lackadaisical effort. If Justin Herron is not going to be the third tackle, who is it going to be?
I mean, Yodny Kajust or Corey Cunningham. I didn't focus on Justin Herron as much in that game, so I'll take your word for it.
O-line on your own time.
But I think he was pretty promising last year. But I don't disagree that those guys have injury history, and there really isn't a lot behind them. I do think it probably would be Justin Herron, for better or for worse. And I think he was pretty good last year. He got thrust into the flames just like Onwenu did. And you also have Onwenu. If you need to slide him over, you could do that. Maybe at right tackle. I don't know about left tackle if he's playing that.
Have you noticed how
Dussault
he's put a little stink on Herron every time to correct me in my pronunciation?
Why, did you call him Heron?
Yeah, I did.
Sorry.
Yeah. And I will continue to.
Yeah.
No, you see, he's done it a couple. He did it like so distinctly. I know he was making a point of doing it.
That doesn't sound.
Yeah,
like me.
I think that I think that's an area that the emailer is right to sort of monitor. I don't think it's something that's on your top 10 list.
No.
But Trent Brown and Isaiah Wynn are both not the most durable players. Somebody out of that group is going to have to emerge as a legitimate tackle, and I'm not sure it is Herron. I'm not sure it's Cajuste either, but I do think that this has been the first time we've gotten a chance to see Yodny on the field consistently. He's been battling injuries for 2 years. I thought he did get some decent reps the other night against Washington. Let's see what those two do tonight, because I think you might see them out there, Mike, with Mac Jones.
Yeah.
That's
franchise.
that's sneaky important.
Did I just see the owner?
Sneaky important.
Did I just see the owner
The
standing
owner was
next
Josh,
to Bill
I believe.
Belichick?
Wasn't
Or
that
was it
Josh?
next to Josh? I thought he was standing next to Bill.
Oh,
It looks like Josh.
I thought it was
with the
Josh.
visor.
Oh,
that's not.
And there is your tight end / fullback position group.
I have
in its entirety.
Yes, I have a question here about the tight ends from Grant in Manchester, UK. Smith and Henry are out leading up to week 1. We only have Asiasi. Is it likely they'll sign a veteran tight end?
I think those guys are going to be okay. Lacoste is the question with a concussion. You know how those things can go. But, I mean, we saw Hunter Henry. He was dressed at practice in Philly. He just didn't participate. So I think he's closer than you might think.
The fact that they both
Smith was around too.
The fact that they both took the trip tells me sooner than later for Smith and Henry. But what I don't know is Lacoste. If Lacoste has a concussion, then I do think they'll sign somebody, because you need more than 3.
But I'm excited to see Asiasi just get a bunch of reps tonight.
Sure.
I think that's great for a second-year player like him coming off COVID. He talked a little bit about his recovery from that. It's a good chance for him. I think he's going to get a lot of action tonight and then hopefully make some strides.
Mike in Michigan has a question that doesn't apply to us, but I think it applies to Patriots fans. He's talking about you're gauging your interest based on the quarterback. He and a coworker had a conversation. He said, I told him, I am out. 0% interest if it's Cam Newton, 50% if they go with a first-round pick, and 100% interested if it was Jimmy Garoppolo. He said, what is your percentage interest this year by quarterback? Would it have been higher if they had gotten Jimmy G instead of Mac Jones? And I think for us, we're all invested 100%, and I find them to be compelling either way. But for like your basic fan, I think it's a lot higher with Cam Newton at quarterback than a lot of people would believe.
Yeah.
I would say
That's
Mac.
Unfortunate.
I mean, I for me, it's just a little bit, just because he's the young guy. It's the unknown. Maybe Cam Newton has a good season in him, but
the best story would be Jimmy Garoppolo. That would probably be the highest interest level.
I would go Garoppolo 100%, Mac Jones 99. Just because I would say that
he doesn't have the Jimmy Garoppolo baggage yet. I mean, he probably will have his own baggage at some point.
Yeah, and I would put Cam a little higher than 0, but I don't want to see that.
But we also hear from fans all the time who are still just Cam Newton fans. They just want to see him do well.
Believe me, we hear from him a lot in social media.
I equate it to people who want Tiger Woods on the Ryder Cup team. He can't walk. It's Tiger Woods.
Put him on!
Yeah. Did you see what he did in the Masters 2 years ago? Put him on.
Yeah. No, and
there's an element to that.
Cam's earned those fans and that support, and I wanted to give him the chance, and that's why I want to see him tonight. I want to see what he's got in a game situation in a prolonged period.
Yeah, it's not fair to Cam, but that's my analogy.
Well, no, but let's forget about the car crash.
Take that out.
Like if he
had been playing poorly.
Right. Well, just playing like he has been.
Yeah.
Really, like he had been to that point. And you had like one Ryder Cup spot for control of the free world. There's a vast majority of people said that one spot's got to go to Tiger Woods.
Right.
When there's probably
it's
50 guys more qualified.
Jason Kokrak would be, infinitely more qualified. Yes. The guy's a player right now.
Kokrak?
No, it's Kotrak.
Coat rack.
No, Coke. No, I know who he is. And the only reason why I know who he is because I watched
I was going to say you drafted him one week.
No, an abnormal amount of these stupid events the last, I would say, 2 months.
PGA
There's been
deep
some
dive.
good golf on.
Well, there's been some crazy
sudden death
playoffs,
finishes
yeah.
and playoffs. Yeah.
Like there was one that went like 8 holes one
was
week.
great.
And then there was one that
I
involved
think
like 6
Kokrak
guys.
was involved. It was
Right?
was one of the guys.
I was
in there.
rooting for the other young guy that had the pink shirt on that day. I forget his name now. That's what happens is I see these guys and I get to know who they are in that tournament. And then, as you know, more than anybody, those 50 guys that were involved in that tournament all missed the cut the next week because you never know from one week to the next.
There's a consistency issue.
Well,
on the
a
PGA Tour
little
right
interesting.
now. What do you got?
Little interesting news from Phil Perry, just that doesn't look like Cox, Graham, Josh Sweat, or Barnett or Javon Hargrave are gonna play tonight. So
You ain't playing, guy.
good news for the Patriots offensive line. Just unfortunate. I want to see him go against good guys and get a little bit more of a gauge. But
And from
take
all
what we can
accounts,
get.
Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham really controlled Shaq Mason and Trent Brown on that Monday practice, the one that Chris McPherson was talking about in our first segment.
Johnny in Germany checking in again. He said, I forgot to ask if the Patriots play a game in Germany next year. Will you guys come? And we'll have a Patriots pub night right here with some German beer, best beer in the world.
Oh yeah,
I believe that we probably would.
yeah.
You two.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't speak for you. You don't work for our company, technically.
Well, I do, but yeah. I would say that Paul would be up for that if you have something. How do you say Diet Miller in
Miller
German?
Lite.
Yeah. Do you?
Das Diet Miller.
No, I could. I mean, we could drink. We drink in German.
Very quickly,
Yeah.
Claire in the UK. Hi, Claire. Hi, everyone. Hi, Maureen.
I didn't expect to hear from Claire because of the tight end situation. I figured she'd be in church.
She's in
or
a dark
something.
room, like just trying to hold herself.
She said, just watching the players, is it me or with Cam and Mac, does Hoyer look kind of teeny?
No, Mac looks teeny.
I think Hoyer and Mac look similar.
Yeah.
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 And
Everyone looks
and
teeny.
Cam is
and virtually anybody looks
Adonis.
teeny by comparison to
Cam is
To
just
Cam
a
knows.
giant.
He is
human
a
being.
giant man, and he is proportionately giant. I mean,
He is.
he doesn't look gangly. He doesn't look out of proportion. He's just one of these big athletes that, like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
you must do something physical for a living because
Yeah,
here
Hoyer
you are.
and
Just-
Jones are virtually the same size. They all are dwarfed by Cam.
Right. All right. Over under time. Here we go.
It's time for this week's edition of Over Unders.
You're over me? When were you under me?
Quite a first week in preseason. These will not count toward the
You know they didn't count.
end of season
You know.
totals, but
You know those
Is
tests
that-
are culturally biased.
is that your is that your excuse, Paul? Matt Morrell, give us the standings.
Last week, Mike went 3-3, Hardy went 2-4, and Paul went 0-6.
Over.
Oof.
That's hard to do.
Absolutely. It's ridiculously hard to do.
50-50.
On
Wow.
preseason games.
Unbelievable.
You're basically flipping a coin on every one, and I went 0-6.
All right, so let's
hard.
Cheated.
lead them off here. What do we got this week?
All right, going off of Mike's keys, does Cam play the full half? We have that at a half for number reasons.
Yes. I'm going to say yes because I want it.
I'm going to say no. A lot of guys not playing for the Eagles, by the way.
Does Cam play a full half? Yes.
Add Darius Slay to that mix.
I'm going yes. Paul's going no. And Deuce is going yes.
Next, we have Mac Jones passing touchdowns at a half.
I'm taking the over on that.
I'm going to take the over too.
He's going to throw one tonight.
We're all
I mean, by the time he gets in, he's going to be going against like the JV squads.
Well, it's going to be like fours based on
Right.
who
Right.
Philadelphia is going to be playing.
we're all
He
going
could start and play against the thirds.
we're all going over on the Mac attack tonight. Touchdown pass. He will throw a touchdown pass tonight. Yes.
Hope to see it. Next, we got Ramondre Stevenson rushing yards at 127.5.
Oh,
That's a ton.
That's under.
I'll take
Under
the
for me.
under on that.
Yeah, I think we're all
What he
going
rushed
under.
last week.
With a
Yeah, but
91-yard
with a
touchdown.
91-yard touchdown run at the in garbage time. Yeah, we're all going under.
Jalen Hurts passing yards 60.5.
Oh. Based on what we saw in practice, I'm going over.
I'll take the under. Based on the rest of the personnel, I'm not sure he's playing much tonight either.
Well, I don't know what practice you guys were watching. He was the best quarterback on the field.
Agreed.
From what I read.
Agreed.
So I will go over. You guys are both going under.
No, you guys are both going over. I'm going under.
You're over me? When were you under me? All right.
That's
Number
what
of
you
penalties
call closure.
by the Patriots.
Number of
Ooh,
penalties
this is interesting.
By the Patriots, 4.5.
Oh, blowing up the over.
Over.
I'll take the over. I don't have to play catch up. I'm trying to get the win.
And ending with the total 38 and a hay.
I'm going to go under. I think Phillies.
I'm going to go under because I think it's a Patriots defense night.
Yeah, I'm going to go under as well.
All right.
Sounds like nobody's playing for Philadelphia, and the list of Patriots that are not playing are not beyond the tight ends.
Yeah, I mean, all the guys that have been out, I see.
It's all the guys that have been hurt.
Jim McBride pointing out Brandon Bolden, one of the few that did not that is not dressed, but that was
right. I mean, it's like it's Stidham, Folk, Gilmore, Bolden, Jonathan Jones, Josh Bledsoe, Bryant, McGrone, Cardona, Jennings, Hall, Jonnu Smith, Matt Lacoste, Hunter Henry, Trey Nixon, Lawrence Guy, and Byron Coward. All of those guys haven't practiced, with the exception of Bolden. Right?
Right. Correct.
All right. Final thoughts before we get